I think that it goes back to being kind and compassionate to yourself as we weather all these things, weather, astrology, whatever, the pressure systems make us feel different. Cold fronts come through or warm fronts come through, our bodies feel different. So it's just really important to recognize how much what's going on around you affects what's going on in you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Authentic Conversations. So I am Amarellis. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, welcome. And those that are returning, thank you so much for coming back. And we have Susan. I can't hear you. What happened? You leave me for a minute and then things go crazy.
So I'm back. I'm back. Things are crazy. You don't need to hear me. I got nothing to say today. Oh, now that's highly unusual.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy. So yeah, here we are. It's spring. So our bodies are inspired to do something different. Like we're cyclical like everything else. You know what I mean? So as soon as you feel that like change in the season or change in the air, it changes the energy. It's regeneration season, right? So everything that's laid dormant for the winter that we, kind of left alone, starts to spring up, starts to, break through the dark, dank earth and show itself.
It sure does, Susan. And I can feel the energy for myself of spring, the cleaning, the, wanting to move things around, changing the energy, because sometimes, even if we can't change our environment, we can change our energy and how we feel, whether it's the furniture around, bringing in new plans and forgiving yourself if you don't have the best green thumb. I'm like that. I find the easy ones that I can try to keep alive, that can bring that, it's cleaning out the energy, cleaning out the air in your house. And it's so important to just start off with that, even if it's just your office desk, rearranging things, if when you practice feng shui, moving 12 items or 21, it's just really important because it brings the energy back in and moves it slowly.
So we don't need new things. We need new perspectives on the things we have or the ability to release things. So by moving 21 things or by moving 12 things, some of those might go to new homes.
Yes, absolutely. So look at what's around you guys. Are you wearing your clothes? I do a trick in my closet to keep the energy flowing, even in our closets. I mean, we really think that, okay, what's the big deal? But there is, even with your clothes, if your clothes are not making you feel,
there's triggers. You got triggers in your closet.
Get it out. I do a hanger trick where everything is hung this one way. And then when I wear something, I flip it around just so that I know that I'm wearing things that make me feel good. And if I wear it and there's just something, I sometimes put it away, say, I really kind of like this piece. I'm not ready to let go of it. It's okay to do that. It's, and then there's other moments where I'm just like, oh yeah, this is the third time I've tried this outfit. It's just not making me happy. Because then it's easier to just get going in your day when you just go in your closet, you love what's in there, it makes you feel good.
Right.
And then you're out for the day, guys.
Yeah. So reorganization, new perspectives, new growth, releasing old ideas, beliefs, heaviness, it's really regeneration. And I would love to take a second and just talk about this whole solar flare thing. So the sun in its infinite wisdom is deciding that, the planet Earth needs invigorating. Maybe it's invigorating. I mean, my perspective on it. But it's releasing solar flares at a higher rate than normal. So there's always, solar flares are a thing, it's like it's energetic, but Earth is fed from the sun. And when these solar flares larger in magnitude are being released, it affects us energetically. Now, if you're tuned into your own energy and you notice the difference, you could go back and actually see time and designation and size of these solar flares. But, really, it's just if you're feeling off or you're feeling an abundance of energy or unsettled energy, whatever it is that you're feeling, know that we talk about it all the time. It's not just what's happening in your house, in your life, and it's happening, universally, so it's like just being aware of it. So, I've noticed I'm kind of sleep deprived, over the last few weeks collectively. Ordinarily I sleep really good. My dreams have been much more vivid. They've had people in them that, I have not, seen, for years, or, who have been deceased for years, or who I have not thought of for years. And it's just so interesting to me. And I'm normally not a dream rememberer,
Mm.
so when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, wow, that was my grandmother in a convertible in a snowstorm. I'm like, what am I but seriously, that was the dream. I'm like, what am I dreaming about? And my mother was at the supermarket and I had to turn around in a snowstorm in a convertible with the top down with my grandmother, and it's like, is going on, so yeah, it just we just have to pay attention to it. And I'm gonna have to take a nap today because I'm going to be sleep deprived, or a siesta, 30-minute,
Mhm.
they say no more than 30 minutes,
Right.
of
Yeah, little cat nap is what they call them, right? Where you just kind of
yes.
close your eyes and just settled in 15 minutes, 30 minutes the most, and then you're back and you're refreshed, because that's also the vehicle that has working, right? It's our body, and
Right.
we have to treat it. So we just came from the winter. We just had that hibernation time where we hopefully kind of slept in a little bit more, or felt that, because the sun also was staying out,
Yeah, it's
longer.
darker, longer darkness,
So
yeah.
you're feeling that, right? And then we just went through the equinox, and that's a lot of energy. And now with everything that's happening, we are, for our fans out there, if you follow us on our Instagram page for Authentic Conversations with One Seed podcast, we are meeting up with the beautiful Chrysanthi, who does our reading and birth charts, and she's amazing at letting us know what's going on. And I asked her for her help about this. We're trying to figure out a name yet. We don't know what it is, but it's almost like an energy report. And there's a good friend of mine who has a podcast, and she does call it energy report, right? And it is because it is the energy, right? Just like we do a weather report, there is this energy of all the beautiful planets aligning or retrograde. And what is it? If you're interested in it and you're kind of feeling like, okay, I don't know, what am I feeling? And Susan, I felt the same way, like low energy, high energy, sometimes trying to figure out what was going on. And so just sort of like, okay, I'm gonna just relax. I know this
Yeah.
is not me.
Because
This is just
figuring it out, right, you can't figure it out. So there's the controllables and the uncontrollables. We certainly do not have control over the cosmos, but we
mm-hmm.
do have control over how we respond to the shift in energy or the change. And I think that it goes back to being kind and compassionate to yourself, as we weather all these things, weather, astrology, whatever, the pressure systems make us feel different,
Yeah.
when cold fronts come through or warm fronts come through, our bodies feel different, so it's just really important to recognize how much what's going on around you affects what's going on in you.
And listen, if you're already listening to this, what we're talking about, because it's the energy that pulls through, right? So it's about the fact that there's a different energy when there's a full moon. There's a different energy when there is a new moon, right? And the earth, the sun, all of these ties in together to our energy of ourselves, because we're all connected and we're all energy.
Well,
So
cycles, female cycles, right? I mean, we know we feel different times,
oh,
And if you're menopausal cycles or it doesn't really matter. It's like honoring where you're at. You got to meet yourself where you're at. You can't control the things that you can't control. So you have to, recognize your responses to the uncontrollables and shift them so that you can set yourself up to feel the best possible way given all the circumstances. It's not always going to be, roses. Sometimes it's going to be thorns. But the thorns, right? The pricks, the uglies, the uncomfortables, right? Are what really drive us. They're what really motivate us to, level up, to shift, to move, to change, to become our next best version. So if you're feeling some sort of way, acknowledge it, honor it, and then reach for something within that feels a little bit better for now until you have an opportunity to, continue to move forward.
Yes. So journaling, changing the energy by playing music, going for a car ride, going for a walk,
Rearranging your office, cleaning your closet.
These are things that get you going, right? So it's again creating momentum, energy, breathing differently. Because if you go for a jog, you're breathing differently. If you're going for a walk, you're breathing differently. My partner came to me and goes, "You've ever heard about grounding?" And I was like,
"No, what is it?" Do tell.
And I love it because we are all different in our ways that we take energy in and that we take information, right? And we all have our programming. And I know that what we talk about in authentic conversations sometimes can be a little bit like, what does solar flares have to do with anything? Where's the science?
I hope you Google it. I hope you Google it when you log off. You're like, oh wait, pause. I gotta Google solar flares and see what this woman's talking about. I don't get it. Yeah, it's fine.
So the beauty of like when you start changing yourself, people around you start having different conversations, and then at their own time, they decide to start like testing the waters and figuring things out. So he came to me and he's like, "So you've ever heard about grounding, how important it is, walking barefoot, the beach and the magnetics?" And I was like,
yeah,
you tell me what did you learn from it? What did you take? How did you have to gear it?
Yeah.
So that it connects to you and then it hits you in your chakras to hear it go, "Oh, I understand," right? Because we're barely ever barefoot.
Right. I'm always barefoot.
I am. Me too. Flip-flops are my thing. I could do anything with flip-flops.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shoes are, it's shoe optional only when necessary, but and there were even times where my feet argued that too, I mean, like, I needed more support. Oh my goodness. Right. So I was doing something that I thought was good for me, but I needed more support. So I had to change it up. You know what I mean? So I could get back to where I was, so I could, appreciate more. It's life is just all lessons. It's all lessons. If your feet hurt, then get the support you need so that you can get yourself back to being able to feel comfortable in your own 2 feet.
Because it aligns with your back. So then your back starts hurting. It's all connected. I mean, I love how when I have a back pain and go to the chiropractor and they're like, "Oh, it has to do with something over here or over here," but it's all in a different area, and how much it's connected, even though it's not right away in the same path. So, guys, we're talking about feeling ourselves and allowing ourselves to feel things that sometimes we can't explain. But if you're already here, that means that you are already seeking, and the answers will come in the ways of like you finding this podcast or something else through media. Because even when you're like, say, I'm looking for furniture, all of a sudden Facebook starts telling you how many furniture things you need, right? It's the algorithm didn't come from nowhere. That algorithm was created by a human being who knew and listened to the inner guidance and said, "This is how we work. We work by energy, attraction." We talked about the law of attraction, right? So if our energy is feeling a little stuck, sometimes dusting the table around, cleaning things, moving things around, getting rid of things by donating them so that you're saving the earth and giving to
Yeah,
others.
or
Because
getting compensated for them
yeah,
on some sort of marketplace or whatever, I mean,
yeah,
it's like, if it served its purpose and, it can bring you joy giving it away, or it can bring you cash to, create something new, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, springtime, spring cleaning, spring refocusing, spring re-energizing, spring renewal, like, start to just pay attention to what's around you and what
it's
you.
bouncing back, right? I mean, nature automatically knows when it's time to start blooming. They don't look at each other and say who blooms first.
Mm-mm.
They take care of themselves.
Right.
They allow when it is. It's just like buying these beautiful orchids that I'm in love with right now and seeing them, come out at their time, how they grow outside of this. Their roots are outside of them instead of inside. I had to research it one time because I was just like, why is this happening? It's
Yeah.
so beautiful, interesting. And that's how they collect the oxygen. They know what to do. So do you.
That's
So
right.
does your body.
So pay
So
attention and allow it.
allow with love. Cut the cords of energy and say, I allow, and I bring my energy back to me. I center myself.
I'm grateful. And
And
I'm
I'm going to allow
passionate.
myself, and I'm going to allow myself to rest if I need a little bit more because I'm not ready to spring up and start moving.
It's
Or
okay.
I'm moving and I'm ready to get going to settle myself up for the summer, which is a whole other new amazing energy that comes through. So that's where we are. It's amazing. And thank you so much, Susan, for sharing that with us. Did you have any nice reading that you want to share with us from your journal of nighttime? I know you write all the time.
Oh, wait, did I write anything out? Let me see. This morning, the dreams were so bizarre, I just had to process, but.
Okay.
So this was a little bit about confidence, right? So confidence is a belief that's tied to the value of self-worth. Right? So the belief is confidence, the value is self-worth. Do not allow the outcomes to control your confidence. So when you walk confidently in the direction of something that feels important to you, stay in that same power, no matter what unfolds. Because your confidence is not tied to the outcome, your confidence is tied to your value. So you keep your value with you as you enter every situation, regardless of the situation that happened prior. Do you see what I mean? So if it doesn't go your way, it's because that door is not ready to open. It's not the time to spring. It's the action is not there. Don't defeat the confidence. Don't lose the confidence because the confidence is tied to your value. So if it's not this, then it will
Then
be
what?
that. Then it'll be that. And we don't know what that is yet, but you had to obviously walk to the locked door in order to keep moving.
In order to shift.
Yes. So
So
sometimes the door is locked, and if the door
yeah.
is locked, don't lose sight of your value and the confidence that you have to continue to move forward. Just move to the next door. That's it. That was too nice.
I love it. Because we shut ourselves down.
Yeah.
And we go into the negativity.
Yeah.
Stay positive. Stay in the prayer of saying whatever the outcome is for everyone involved,
Yes.
for all of us involved, because we're all connected. And I am open to be guided to the next step.
And if not this, then what's next?
Yes, guys. And that way you keep that energy flowing to say, I am ready to receive. And I'm thankful that it wasn't that, but it's something else. And I know, I trust and I believe that it will come through to fruition. So guys, it's sometimes, I know I always say, how simple is it and how complicated we do it, but it's all about the veil, right? The veil is very transparency. And when you start lifting that veil up and you start seeing things and you start realizing that there's a lot of programming and there's a lot of things that were put in that you were automatically as a child already using your imagination. You were free at will and going with the flow. And then we just started getting restricted. So that's why there's all this energy shift. That's why when you feel that you need to come back to groundingness and finding the connection, finding programs like this that remind you that yes, you are on the right track. Follow your higher instincts.
You
You're
sure
always favored.
are. We sure
Always.
are. We're always supported.
Always. And that's what we're here for, guys, to just give you a little support, a little reminder that, yeah, those thoughts that come through, they're real. So thank you so much for joining us. We can't appreciate the much love that we get from you guys. You know, you have to do, if you can please hit the like button so that you can subscribe and follow us and get to know our new videos that are up. We're on Instagram and TikTok and Spotify and podcasts. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Amaryllis.